Hi friends, now I'm back again and I'll say sorry. It has taken so many days since I was here last time, but I have been a little busy doing some private things that I found was necessary to spend my time with. But I promised you to make a video about something with the moon and teeth, where I found some kind of connection. But I'll start to show you this picture, which they say symbolize some is a figure of something with the rowers on Mars. But when we see those machines, they say they put on Mars. I have noticed that very often they have 6 wheels. So there could be a symbolism for the action code with the 6 rings. And you could also say it symbolizes something with 3, since there are 3 couple of wheels. Now there are 3 wheels on right and 3 on left side of the vehicle. But we also know that Mars, they say, symbolize war. And it seems to that all the big countries is very wild about going to Mars. So that fits fine with the war situation in the world, that it's actually some kind of symbolism for what they want to be a part of on the earth. But I can see it also fits fine with the child case and the problems we had there, that they had the system have judged that there were some kind of war between the father and I, so they then used the 6 ring action code to do what they felt they should do in that situation. But that story is not over yet. What I'm doing here is still a part of getting closer to figure out why they should do what they did against us. But I have mentioned before that when people are talking about in the end there will be one religion who will win, and that will be the religion who has the name of some kind of boots. And we know there are made some boots that are called moon boots. And actually there are a religion that is called the moon religion. It's some kind of a cult, as far as I can read. But I'll not go deeper into this. Maybe I'll make a video where I only show some pictures and talk a little bit about this cult. The only thing I want to show you, the leader, who I have understood is dead today. He wears some kind of a crown. So there could be a symbolism that the crown, the royals are in it, and he also have flowers in the royal purple color. But at the top of, or in the middle, at the forehead of this crown, there are this 5 pointed star. But we know the story about the moon, and when they say they have been there, here's some kind of a jewel made of the footprint. Maybe what they would say is the first footprint on the moon. What I noticed here is that the footprint has been put into some kind of a ring, or an O, a 0. And it's also look like it's not. It's like it's some kind of broken. You can say it's not a fine copy of the boot, but that could also be on purpose, maybe because it should symbolize something broken. Oh, there got this cyclone in, and that's of course something connected to the war almost 70 years back, and also Arabia, the Arabic world, and something with the woman who's targeted. Here we have this round, what should we call it, egg, really doesn't, or pearl, where there are a woman in it, and it looks like the wizard or some kind of Arabic person, and that's, I think it's a musical. It's called Cyclone, and I've seen something with a cyclone in a cartoon where there was some hint to missing teeth, but cyclone. Then we go back to this old war where we know those who were taken, and they say a lot of people were killed. They were captured in and put in some camps, and they had those tattoos marked. They got those tattoo marks on their arm, and I noticed here this person has the tattoo on the family side of the body. After Chinese body reading, and I think we can, in my mind I'm very sure that this number symbolizes the CPR number we all have today, social security number, so they can use our social security number against us in exactly the same way as they did to these people that time. Meaning, I could have a very, very big suspicion that what was going on that time in the camps are actually going on in the open in our life today. So even though we think we are living in a free world where nothing bad is done towards us on purpose, it could very well be that there really are systematic done things toward a different kind of people in the open, and we have been brain manipulated to not to see it and not to believe that it really could be that way. But the name Cyclone, they were the poison they say they used in that war, was named Cyclone, poison gas. I have a feeling I have shown this picture before, but here's a person who also mean that dentists are destroying our teeth with poison, and there are a lot of talk about poisoning water and poisoning food and poisoning in the earth that go into the food we eat. And when they talked about something like that in the news some weeks ago in Danish news, we saw they interviewed a woman who they have interviewed maybe a year ago or 2 years ago about this kind of poison. And here we see she's pregnant, and we see 2 rings. So that could very well be the first ring. And she looked down in a freezer. So I could see there maybe could be some kind of hint that if you get pregnant with eggs or sperm from a freezer, you could end up to get a child that actually are poisoned from the start, because you do not know from where exactly this other part of the child comes from. So it could harm the rest of the child's life. But here we see the child, I assume she had in the stomach that time, and we see she's going down this roller coaster, and she ends up in a lot of gray balls. And we know the gray color is used to symbolize something confused, where you cannot really see clear what is going on. When they use the gray color, and she also have the royal color at her dress. Sorry. And we see the puzzle, something new, the green, and there's something dark that fits together with that. But now I go a little far out. But we have the Danish queen who used these tooth or bone figures, tupilak, who are some kind of figures that can be used to cast a spell, evil spell on somebody. So there we come to the teeth, and we came from the moon, and what connection I saw to some kind of teeth, and it was this. The picture tells that these are actually teeth from mammoth, which in some language also are called amui. And it looks very, very much like a moon boot. And of course it's in a very bad shape. You can see it's broken and so on. So there could be a hint to maybe something with the mammoth and also the moon story. We also see the mammoth. They say they had this horn that also are very close to a ring if they are put together. But also the bows we use when we write and put a word in the middle, and in the middle of these there are the mammoth's head, of course, so the mammoth's memory, and we know memories of an elephant. The mammoth is some kind of an elephant race, and we know they say about the elephant that the elephant never forgets. So I think that could be something about remember and going to the moon, and of course teeth. But the mammoth word, I found this kind of a kran, it's called in Denmark, where you can come very high up and get things and do things. It's a machine called a mammoth. The mammoth, they also say, had hair. Normal elephant do not have hair. I've already talked too much, so we make a number 2 from here after this.